Hello, this is Gary Cooper from the Millers in the UK, and I just wanted to talk a little bit more about Karatbars and what they actually do as a company and how you can benefit. So, as you may have seen before, Karatbars are a gold bullion retailer. The company is actually situated in the offices that you see on the screen here in Stuttgart, Germany, and they have been going since 2011, so already a well-established company. So, okay, retailing gold bullion. So, where are the advantages for you in that? Now, we all know about inflation. Basically, the value of your currency dropping away over time. So, a typical example there shown on the illustration. You know, for a certain amount of money in 1998, you could have filled your shopping basket. Fast forward to today, 2017, the same amount of money from back then would literally get you a handful of items in your shopping basket if you are lucky. So gold can help you hedge against inflation. Basically, the gold, even though it does in fact fluctuate up and down in value, over time it tends to be pretty consistent. So typically, you know, however much gold would have bought you a full shopping basket in 1998, the same amount of gold today would typically still fill that shopping basket full of food for you. So that's kind of an idea of how it can protect you against inflation if you put, and only if you put, a certain amount of your funds and savings in gold. Okay, like I say, it's not a guarantee. Price in gold does move up and down. But if you look at any historic data, which we're going to look at in a moment, it will show you how it's performed over, you know, the last sort of 20-25 years. Okay, so it's a pension as well. Some people use it as a pension in your control. So you can put money into gold bullion, and then you know, when you're 65 or 70 or even before then, you can start to put that gold bullion back into currency if you need to spend it. So that's one way of utilising gold for long-term savings. It's affordable. Thanks to Karatbars, you can buy gold bullion from Karatbars in 1 gram, 2.5 gram and 5 gram increments. Obviously you can buy pretty much as much as you want. And they've also recently launched some cash gold where you can purchase even smaller denominations than a gram. Okay, so really affordable. You don't need a lot of money to get started. Purchasing the gold, I mean, to get started with Karatbars is absolutely free anyway, to open up an account and set yourself up. But to actually purchase the gold, you can generally start with, you know, less than a gram. It's easy to store, so it's high value. You can, you know, hold quite a large amount of value in a small area because of the value of gold, the price of gold, and it's easy to liquidate. So you can turn that, you know, gold back into cash pretty much at any time, and you can do that over the internet. You can do it at various gold dealers that will pay you for your gold, and also Karatbars have their own buyback scheme as well. But you're more than welcome to. The gold is yours, so you're more than welcome to sell it as you wish. It's store of wealth, like I say, as I've mentioned in that slide there. You know, it holds its value typically over time. Yes, it fluctuates day to day, month to month, even year to year, but over time it tends to hold its wealth. No maintenance. Obviously, there's lots and lots of things you can buy to try and protect yourself and you know, against inflation. Some people buy property, some people buy classic cars, and all sorts of things like that. But they generally come with a certain amount of maintenance. So, you know, you need to sort of factor that in. So you can buy a car, it may or may not go up in value over time, but chances are you've got to keep it running, got to keep it maintained. Same with property. You know, if you bought a property on a buy-to-let, as well as having to have the money up front, or, you know, or borrow the money to sort of buy the property in the first place, if you wanted to turn that back into cash, you'd have to sell the whole property. Or if you did have tenants agreements in place and tenants in, then you'd probably be ending up, you know, spending out a certain amount of the intake on upkeep. Okay. Also, gold is indestructible. Yes, you can melt it, you can hit it with a hammer, but in the end, it's still there. So it's not something that you should lose or get damaged. So you know, it's protected in a vault. You can have it at home if you wish, but you know, Karatbars will store it for you, and you can then either, you know, resell it or have it delivered to your home, whichever you want to do. And it also, gold, it means you're not relying on banks and governments and third parties. In other words, if you put money into a pension plan, or if you're in a pension plan, a lot of people are, including myself, there's no guarantees. It's very difficult to establish what sort of return that will give in the future, and it's all very much dependent on the performances of governments, banks, and all those sorts of things. Whereas gold as a product, as an entity, it's kind of outside your own country's state of affairs, so to speak. So at the moment, you know, if you've got money tied up in UK sterling, for instance, you know that that has been dropping quite dramatically over recent months against dollars and against euros. So the beauty of having in gold, if it's, you know, if something happens to the pound or the euro or whatever, the actual gold itself still tends to have that value across a more globalized area. Okay, so hopefully this is helping just understand what Karatbars is a little bit about. So we've talked about what gold has benefits. Well, it says here there's two ways of looking at it. 99% of people own zero gold, or you could say that less than 1% actually own gold. And when I'm talking about gold, I'm not talking about gold rings and necessarily watches and things like that. I'm actually talking about 24 karat 999.9 LBMA approved currency grade gold. It's the sort of gold that you would have in the Bank of England, that sort of thing. It would be, you know, that sort of level of quality gold. Very few people, less than 1%, actually own that type of gold. Why? Because people think it's too expensive. They don't necessarily know where to buy it. If they did buy it, they'd be too worried and wouldn't know where to store it. Not sure what they would do with it. If they want to turn it back into money, well, are they stuck with it? And also there's the concerns about, what am I buying? There's lots and lots and lots of fake gold out there on the internet, and you need to be sure and confident that what you are buying is the real deal. And also, you know, as we've said, how you would turn it back into cash. So we can help with that with the buyback scheme that Karatbars does. Now, what I'd like you to do now is, somewhere below this video is a link that will take you through a presentation, and this particular slide here is covered in far greater detail, but this is a sort of value that gold has had, or the returns that gold has had over recent years in various currencies. So you can see against the dollar since 2001, you can see how it's gone up. There's been dips in there. As I said, it fluctuates, but an average return on gold against the US dollar has been 10.7%. Okay, so a total return since 2001 of over 331%. If you're calling from, watching from Europe, then you can see again it's had fluctuations. It's consistently, though, tended to go up in value over time, and an average return of 10% per year, and a total return of over 284% since 2001. The biggest climber you'll see here in the UK, and there's reasons for that, and that's basically a lot to do with the strategies that have come out of the whole Brexit campaign. Whereas the actual value, as we said earlier, the value of the pound may have fallen across its neighbouring states, but the actual value of gold is held firm. So you can see there again, GBP, an average return of over 12%, and in total since 2001 a return of over 417%. So that's just a little bit about what gold can offer people. If you would like more information, which I hope you do, you can click a link below this video, and that will take you to a full presentation site, and you can see all about what Karatbars has to offer and how to get involved if that's of interest. Okay, so thank you for watching.